This is Lisa with T-24.com. I don't know what's happening. Odd Musings with Brett and Scott.
Live from the Echo Network studios here in Royal Oak, Michigan, this is Odd Musings. I'm your host, Brett Pinson, along with the other host,
Scott Zambelli.
And we're joined with
Kevin Meinert.
Yay! We got a special guest here today.
Special guest flown in from Indiana.
Flown in.
Sure. On 4 tires.
Yeah. Well, it is Michigan. There is no posted speed limit anymore. That's not true. But
well, with all the construction, you can only go like 10.
I know. I know. I was also in the morning with all the school back in as of yesterday. Now, you guys were back in school down there for a while.
For a month?
Yeah, we just started yesterday for all the Michigan schools. There was some that started last week, but for the most part, this is the week for it. So yesterday morning when I was out working, I ran into a ton of traffic going, where'd you people come from? I ain't seen y'all in months.
Well, between all your U-turns and potholes.
They're not U-turns. They're called Michigan lefts.
Michigan lefts. Michigan lefts. It's just like going in an obstacle course whenever you drive up here. So it's just kind of like all the rules go out the window. It's like, all right.
It's like go-kart racing combined with bumper cars, combined with some kind of bumpy thing.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of bumper cars yesterday.
I saw a couple accidents.
People forgot. It's like first day of school is the same as the first winter snow and the first day of warmth. Everybody forgets how to drive. Like, oh look, there's whatever. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have buses who don't have their blinking lights on, but people will stop anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the opposite, where they actually have them on, you're supposed to stop, and then people go. And it's like,
yeah, you see someone whip around, like, I'm not stopping. Screw the kid.
Yeah, it's like, come on, people, you gotta respect that. But at the same time, just because a bus stops doesn't mean you have to stop. You have to. If they're not got the flashers on, you can go.
That's what the lights are for.
It's like when there's a police officer around and everyone slows down. It's like, you guys are already doing the speed limit. Why are you slowing down?
Yeah, I had that this morning coming up. I was like, why are we slowing down? And then there's a cop off on the side and nobody in front of him. He didn't pull anyone. He's just sitting there with his lights on and everybody's doing 25.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's 70 here.
Go. You're going to cause an accident.
Yeah, they almost did. I watched people like having to slam on the brakes and veer off onto the shoulder. I was like, come on, guys, wake up.
Yep.
Just drive.
So how is the driving out in Indiana compared to Michigan? How would you compare the two?
It's really about the same. It all depends where you're at. You know? I will say for Fort Wayne, the biggest city close to where I live, it's pretty laid back.
Yeah.
But I'm used to driving in Chicago, up here in Detroit, so I'm the maniac driver. And when I'm in Fort Wayne, I'm like, what's wrong with everybody? Because I'm just acting normal, and everyone's just slow and abiding by the rules.
What are these rules?
The pesky rules, you know?
That's right.
And so for people who don't know Kevin's been a longtime friend of all of us here in the room, Dominic included over there. And we do tons of shows together, a lot of traveling over the years between all of us. And so a good friend. How do people find you online?
I have a website, which is Kevin E. Meinert, MEINERT.com. And I'm on Facebook, Kevin E. Meinert Artist. And I'm on Instagram, same thing, Kevin E. Meinert Artist.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, check out his art. He does a great job. You've added this really popular series where you've been doing these split faces.
Yeah, it's something that happened by accident, but that's usually how the big things happen for me. So, I did one image, 5 years ago now, and it was just Batman and Joker. I thought it would be cool to split them, and went to a show, and everybody ate it up, and I went home with 10 commissions to do 10 more.
Right.
Took those to the next show. Oh, you should do, and then I have a list I counted. It has 47 ideas on it for different images.
That's like my helmet series. It's funny how you do a set, you do something with no intention of turning it into a series.
Exactly.
You kind of have that with your the words, the verb and
Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock. Thank you.
Yeah, for a little bit I had that. I ended up with like 8 pieces total, and I had people that suggest other ones always paid me to do more.
Right.
And it's also one of the things that it was a neat little thing for a while, and I still keep them around. I may do a couple more for fun here and there. Yeah. But yeah, that's how things go. I started off, I did a commission of the verb for a guy, led me to doing a whole series on Schoolhouse Rock.
And it's funny how it just grows sometimes, and then you think you have a brilliant idea for a series, and no one cares.
Right, yeah.
oh, that's the greatest thing ever. Nobody likes it. What?
Yeah, it's like I spent hours on this.
People will give you so many different, suggestions, and we
can't
do enough
keep up.
shows, so you kind of like, oh yeah, that'd be great, but then when you hear like 5 people say the same thing, like I better write that one down. That one's
1 or 2 is fine, and then but I also listen more to the people that are actually buying something for me and like, oh, I wish you would do this. Yes, that is a top priority now.
Yeah, that's right.
He's spending money, and then I can do this. Yeah.
But it's the things you don't think will sell either. The ones I'm like, I spend all this time like, this is gorgeous, I love it. And people are like, it's kind of cool,
Right.
And I do like, oh, I think it'd be fun. I wanted to do the Gremlins. Everyone's like, I love that, I'll buy that. And I'm like, but.
Yeah, it's like some piece I spent just minimal time on just to bang it out will be super popular, and then like you said, I've got this one piece I spent like 40 hours.
Right.
No one buys it. No one cares about it. Like, what?
Every now and then I have to do something that I just want to do, so it doesn't feel like so much of a job.
I kind of got like that. It was more of, unless someone's actually giving me a commission to do, it's more of this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I've had people say, oh, I wish you would do this. I'm like, well, you never buy anything. Why would buy that? Well, just commission it then.
Commission it, yeah.
Because you're the only one.
So this weekend, you spent a lot of time this weekend actually creating some new pieces.
Yeah, I broke down and actually spent some money, which I rarely actually buy anything for myself whenever I go to these conventions. So, but I actually bought a tablet. It's I'm going to say it wrong. Huion.
Huion, I think it is. I don't think there's an R in there.
How do you spell it?
Huion.
Yeah.
Huion.
It's probably Huion. They probably pronounce it,
Huion.
Yeah.
It's a less expensive version of Cintiq.
It's the what's his name? The actor. The hooah.
Oh, Al Pacino.
Yeah. It's a hooah. Hooah.
But
Scent of graphics.
I've always wanted to buy a Cintiq, but I wasn't willing to fork out the cash. And
you didn't drop $2,000?
Yeah, it's just like I'm stingy. I really am. I sock the money back to buy other things, or actually I take a lot of what I do. Art's not my full-time job, so I sock some of it back, and that's what how I pay for vacations for the family. So I always sock X amount back, put so much of it back into the business, and then the rest of it's fun money or things that I can do with the family and the kids.
Right.
So it's hard for me to take $300-400 out of that on top of everything else, because when you get back from a show, even if you come back with $2,000 in your pocket, you're gonna spend $400 to buy a table for the next year. You're gonna buy a plane ticket for the next show. So it very quickly
replace what you just sold.
Right. So very quickly now I have $500 left.
Yeah.
Which hey, you got $500 on top of you get to.
And I gotta say, when we all travel together, we go to places like. Unfortunately, Scott wasn't with us in Tampa, but Dom was. I mean, we had some great dinners. We had a great time.
Yeah.
We had after the show, it was a great time to hang out. And that's all part of it too.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. So when I came back from I think it was Indiana, it was whenever Prime Day is.
Yeah.
We have Amazon Prime, which I love for the movies and the music, but I was looking on Amazon Prime Day and they had a couple of these tablets. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how much that is. And I click on it, it was under $300. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, is it any good? I mean, is it going to be hollow and, a piece of crap? But I read a lot of reviews, went through everything, and I'm like, all right. So I took the chance, bought it, and then we went out to San Diego. So it was at the house, and I got back from San Diego, and then I had to travel for work. So I had it at home for 2 weeks before I got to play with it. It's like you have that Christmas present, you have an open jet, and you're like,
Yep.
So I finally got some time to play with it, and it takes a while to get used to.
Yeah.
I'm used to, I had a tablet, but it was just a regular tablet, so I still had to look at the screen and not look at your hand. It's you get used to that. It really does. You train your eyes to not look at your hand.
I tried you. I've got the same thing. I've got the Wacom, and it's nice. It's a nice thing. I'm not getting rid of it.
Right.
But I wanted to be able to draw on the screen because I can't, for some reason, just correlate the two. And I'm trying to draw a line. Here we go. And it's like, why is it going this way?
I know, right? Right. So on the screen, so I did a couple of pieces, and at first I'm like, this is taking me longer than if I drew it, And so I just kept at it. So I had some time finally, not traveling, And I just sat down and made myself do about 3 or 4 pieces. And after the third one, it's so lightning quick. It makes the job so much easier.
I think one thing people don't understand is like a question I'll usually get asked at Comic-Cons is, well, did you hand draw that or is it digital? And what they don't understand is it's the same.
Right.
You're still hand drawing it.
Yeah.
You still need the basic drawing skills.
I think a lot of people are confused by that, and and it's all hand drawn. Other people say even when they're doing digital, it's hand drawn. Well, what do you mean? I was like, they're not keying in numbers and it just magically appears. Well, they are laying down.
I think
lines.
in their mind is what some people in the industry. I'm not going to get into names or anything, but there are people who are just basically they take photos and put filters.
Right.
Try to make they alter it electronically to look like a painting, but it's really a photo.
Yeah.
And so when they ask me is hand drawn or digital, in my mind, I think that's what they think digital means. I don't know. Everyone's.
I think it's a different mix of it. I think that's included as well.
Yeah.
Well, everybody has a different style too. My style when I'm doing it, digitally, is it still looks like when I drew it traditionally.
Right.
I still, drew it, scanned it in the computer, then finished the colors in Photoshop. So the end result's very, very close.
Right. And that's how I've always done it too: is hand draw the paper, scan it in, everything's done digitally after that. So.
But so now I'm doing it completely digital. You do your work digitally. Mm-hmm. My work looks nothing like your work. It's still my style.
Right. It's still your exactly.
So it's not. It's digital, but every style is digital. It's different.
I think the other advantage we have though is our age. We grew up. We developed our style on paper, and I do wonder for younger artists if you start off in digital and never learn how to actually draw on paper. I wonder if it can be hard to create a true style of your own.
Well, the technique. You learn the technique, so you can learn it just as easily digitally.
Well, I've read like Kubert School. I think they start them off on paper, but it's not. It's only like a semester, and after that they go digital. Just mainly because paper can get expensive,
right?
And having all that stuff run, it's easier. You can have your tablet anywhere. You don't have to worry about stacks of paper. You mess up, you just new page on the digital. Where if it's new page of paper, you got to carry packs with you.
Right. So
but packs of paper is still way cheaper than a $2,000 Wacom.
No, it is, but
with all the other with inks and colors and everything else.
I'm just saying. I think there is something to learning to draw on paper.
No, I think it's a key thing. If you look at Pixar was having problems before they did Toy Story, and as they were working on it, and they actually had to go and get traditional animators to come in, and they realized that we need to teach these people how to draw traditionally to be able to do it in the computer, because they go to rigging at that point, but they didn't understand animation.
Right.
And learning how the basic 2D animation works is the way to translate it into the 3D
exactly.
world.
And
I think the same thing with drawing. I've said that before for years too, and I'm not nowhere. I'm more of a writer than an artist, and that. But knowing everything I know and watching people do stuff, people that say, "Well, I've only just drawn digitally," it's like you need to get pieces of paper, you need to start drawing. And they're like, "Well, why?" You're like, "Well, originals. If you're sitting here at the show, you can't digitally draw something and say, well, here's your original."
Right, and I think that's a big trend that it's going that way. So many things are digital, but to what you're saying, if all you know is how to draw digitally and you're using the tablet, I mean, you still might be an amazing artist, but you're not drawing at the actual table. You're not actually showing
the skill
work.
You have.
Right, so you've got people that might have amazing artwork, and someone comes up and says, "Hey, I want you to draw me something." They can't,
right?
Because they don't have
I've
the
seen
tools
that
they use.
Especially with the younger crowd. That someone says, "Can you do a sketch cover?" And like, I don't do that. I don't know how to do that.
Right. So I think that is a trend that we're going to start seeing. And if you look around at a Comic-Con at Artist Alley, you don't see that many artists sitting there and drawing anymore. It really is more of a rare thing.
If they are, it's very specific, like small things. I see a lot of the owners do, like they'll do like little small squares and things like that. And it's really quick little stuff like that. But if they really get this, they look at some of the artwork, it's like, wow, that's really into it. You can tell they have to do it digitally because of what they want to get into. They haven't learned to translate that down to paper.
Right. And so, I mean, that's the thing that can separate, the artists now. I believe in the next couple years, even as the trend keeps going, you're not going to find original art very commonly in Artist Alley.
It's getting there already.
It's already there. So when you actually have the original art, or you can sit there and actually draw, it's going to separate you from the other artists, and I think that is kind of natural. So I think that helps. It's not a bad thing that you do everything digitally, but it definitely, I won't say it makes you one-dimensional, but it does limit your abilities to do things at a show or to show off your talent. limits. You have limited ability. If someone walks up and says, "Let me show you what I can do," they can't. It's not in their comfort zone. They're
very good. Cool. Let's do our ad read for today.
We have to do an ad read.
Let's to our friends at Loringer.
Yes, Loringer Family Chiropractic. I was there yesterday, like I always am on Tuesdays.
Yeah. No, you've been back. Last week would have been your first time since your big trip, right?
No, it's been a few weeks now.
Has it been a few weeks?
Yeah, because we got back mid-August.
Okay. I bet it felt good to finally get adjusted after being gone for so long.
Oh, it did. It did. And I needed it yesterday, too, because I was fighting a migraine yesterday afternoon, and after going to the Ren Fair on Monday, I was kind of stiff all over, so... but... and not in the way that Scott's implying, so...
See, this is what happens when Kevin is near me.
I said nothing.
I know.
Your mere presence.
I let that one slide. I'm trying to be good here.
I know.
15 minutes, no F-bombs.
I know. Which is good.
It's a record. Because he sat down with us and like 4 came out in 30 seconds. So. But your journey to wellness begins here. Build a healthy lifestyle with chiropractic care at Loringer Family Chiropractic Center, PC. They take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient. Located in Belleville, Michigan and Dexter, Michigan, they offer on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, all with a full line of vitamins in a family-oriented environment. Give them a call, 734-697-4244. Visit them at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com. We do have a link at oddmusics.com under our sponsors. And definitely check them out. They've been with us since the beginning. They keep staying with us.
Great sponsor. Please support them.
Yep. And they've got great massage therapists there. They do all the chiropractic care. They do the essential oils, which I get some of those to help out with different things. Like yesterday, with a headache, she had some oil that helped out with that. And even though I still took some Tylenol, it did help reduce the swelling. Because it was all coming right out of my left eye. I felt like my eye was just throbbing also.
Wow.
Well, September and 90 degrees in Michigan is always an odd thing. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you mentioned you were at Ren Fair, Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, the Michigan Renaissance Festival in Holly Grove.
I was hoping to be out there.
Well, it was definitely it was good. We got there. I like to get there and watch the opening ceremony thing when they come out, and they bring out like the pirates come out and do their thing. Because it was High Seas Adventure Weekend.
Yeah, every weekend is a different theme.
Yep, Highland Weekend and all this coming up, and end with the sweet endings. They call it the Big Chocolate Weekend. Then of course the Queen comes out and talks to the mayor, and then they open up the fair, and everybody streams on in.
Open the gates.
Yep. Fire the cannon.
Boom.
It was a nice delay. So they said, fire the cannon. We were like, okay. Finally here, boom, yay!
It's great.
Went in there. It was a fun time. It was a little...
It was hot this weekend.
It was hot. I was a little slight-sided. Remember last year, William Stolpen passed away, and his family had ran the booth.
Right, yes.
And I thought, well, somebody will take over the booth. Somebody will put something in. It was empty.
It was empty.
It was empty.
No one replaced it.
No one has bought it yet to set up or whatever. And someone posted, though, hey, he's still there, and they posted some pictures. They weren't there when I saw them, so they must have posted them after I saw them in the morning.
Oh, okay.
It was a little weird because in all the years I've gone, he was always there.
He was a fixture there. I mean, it was a regular.
He was in the movie that they shot there several years ago, All's Fair in Love, with Christina Ricci. He was the blind guy throwing the axe at the axe throwing, and that. So it was a little weird not seeing.
Sad part is the blind guy throwing the axe is probably still more accurate than me throwing the axe. It's harder than it looks to do that.
It is.
I'm always afraid I'm going to go over and hit somebody out in the parking lot.
There's actually a good gap back
there. There is. I have seen people go over.
I have too. They're like, crap, I'm going to go through that again. But, it was weird last year him not being there, but seeing his wife and his daughter Krishna was great last year. And this year, seeing the empty was really weird. But we still had a good time. Road Blades is one of my favorite shows. And Squire Paul wasn't there because he needed to take the day off because he's a teacher and he had to prep his classroom on Monday for Tuesday. So they did a slightly different show. Basically the same, but instead of Squire Paul, it was just the two of them. And it was actually, as much as I enjoyed their show, it was very hilarious and funny, and they kind of broke up a couple times, and you could tell they were laughing and having fun with the audience in that. Of course, saw the Dead Bob show, which is a fixture there, the washing wenches, ate some food. Actually, we ate at one of the little dragon cafe things, a sit-down one over near the Joust area, and got a little bite to eat. Just had a great time going through shops, and it's always fun.
Always fun, and if you guys haven't been to Renaissance Festival, it's great because the characters actors there, the workers, they act the parts. They
and they
talk
actually in the program guide they listed all the official people that were characters for the first time.
Yeah.
I've never seen the actors listed like that, so I thought it was great.
I have a good time when I go because people think I'm part of the official cast because I'm in full costume. So people want pictures and all that, and I have a good time. But I cannot do an accent at all. So I should just do my Sean Connery because that's like the only accent I have for anything. So
That's good. You're like what, a Viking barbarian or something?
it's from the TV show Legend of the Seeker.
Okay.
So it's a medieval leather armor with chainmail type outfit. It was actually screen used. It was from the studio itself. I purchased it from. So it's a pretty cool piece.
I remember seeing you last year with it. So,
Yeah,
because I
it's
ran
good.
into you last year at the fair. So.
But the downside of wearing that is I can't experience all the fun like Brett is like, oh yeah, I ate here and did all this. That suit, I have to like dehydrate myself and not eat all day because once you have it on, you don't have to use the restroom there.
It's probably not a good idea. 90 degree.
Right. So actually, I'm thankful that I ended up having to do a lot of real estate this weekend, so I had to not go. But once I saw how hot it was, I'm like, oh, I would have been dying out there in that. So
Where's Scott? Oh, I think he's over there acting.
Yeah.
He lost the
oh,
chops.
he's playing a dead man. I'm not dead yet. Yes, you are.
Bring out your dad. We got one right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Grab him by the beard.
But cool. So you had a good time, and
Yeah, I had fun. I love going every year, and it's always a blast. And even though I see, the shows are basically the same every year, it's just one of the things I like about it is you show up and everything's about the same. You see like Rick Rock show, it's always the same.
Yeah.
A few of the other ones, and now they bring in some different acts here and there, so you get new ones every once in a while and stuff like that. But it's just you walk in and the way it's set up. I've been to one other Ren Fair, and that was in Pittsburgh area, and it was nice and nothing wrong with it. But the Michigan one, it just really feels immersive the way they built up all the buildings. It's more buildings intense. And
well, yeah, the buildings are permanent.
Yeah.
So that's their year round. So when they come in, it feels like you're walking through a medieval town, which is really cool.
Yep.
And it's
the
fun.
town of Hollygrove.
Hollygrove, yes.
So it's definitely a lot of fun. I'll go back next year and check that out. And you said you were doing some real estate, so what's been going on there?
Oh, it's been good. We had an offer for a client that got accepted. We went through all the inspection period, did all that, and everything came out good there. So we're moving towards closing, which is nice. So yeah, so good times there.
Yeah.
Good times. Yes, it's always nice when you're moving towards a closing because that means payday.
Yes.
So yeah.
Now with real estate, where can they find you? What you got going on with real estate? We were talking a little bit beforehand.
Yeah, so I'll give my little ad read.
Yeah.
It's, the end of summer is here, and a lot of people always associate summer with the real estate season, and they think once fall comes, real estate season's over, but it's not. The reasons why people move, they're getting married, getting divorced, having families that they need to grow in, kids are moving out and they have to downsize. All the reasons people have to move still exist the rest of the year. Right. So just because summer is ending, it doesn't mean real estate season's ending. And if you need to sell your home, there's still time to do it. Give me a call, 586-549-6096. And you also get the better half of my team, Jill. She comes with the package. She was here last week.
Yep.
So she's the smart one, as I always say. And we'll help you find a home or sell the home you have. So, Facebook, Realtor Scott Z.
Yep. Or look up Jill Webler if you don't want to deal with Scott.
Realtor Jill Webler is hers on Facebook.
Realtor.
Yeah, they are realtors.
Yeah, not realtors. Yeah, it's REALTOR. There is no A or I in the middle of the word. Which actually, okay, pet peeve time. I'm not going to mention names, but there is a certain realtor who advertises on the radio, and they say realtor, and it just drives me nuts. It's like, okay, if you're doing enough business to at least afford a radio ad budget, say it right.
Is it Hef?
I'm not saying any names. Hef. I don't know who Hef is.
Jeff.
Oh,
Hef?
Hefe. No.
It's El Jefe Glover.
Yeah. Actually, he's with Keller Williams also.
Yeah, I know that.
He's actually a very high producing realtor. Yeah. But anyways, the one I'm speaking of keeps referring to themselves as a realtor in their ad, and I'm like. That's like real estate. Like the first day of real estate school, they drill it into you. It's not realtor.
So is he like a realtor for the nuclear family?
Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So that's one of those things. Well, we're getting a request from Alan Shell here. Alan is also a fellow friend and artist. He wants to know, Kevin, if you remember your black Pepto.
His black Pepto-Bismol tongue?
What is that?
Oh God!
Is this something appropriate to talk about?
No. Yeah, we were.
I don't know what this is.
We were at a convention. I think it was Pittsburgh, and we went out the night before, and it must have been food poisoning because I usually can hold my beer. And the next morning, we were leaving to go to the show, and we were with Terry Huddleston. It was myself, Al, and I walk out of the hotel. I'm like, I don't feel so well. And I'm just like, oh, there's a bush, and it went. And I mean, it was just like, and like I'm puking in the bushes, like right there's like breakfast, right? So I'm just like, I look out the bush, and there's a lady going, still eating.
She's still eating. Watching
and the kids are just like on the glass. And I'm like, so I mean, it's going everywhere. So Terry gets me up to the room, and he had some Pepto-Bismol. So I took some of that, and I still go to the show. I guess the combination of the acid and the Pepto, my entire tongue was black. I mean, black as black. So when I talk, you could just see that the tongue was black. So I wasn't feeling well. But then I talked to someone, they're like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?"
See, what I want to know is when Terry got you up there, did he do the Spaceballs? He goes, water my ass, let's get this some Pepto-Bismol.
No, I was like dead to the world.
So did it swell up or anything? Or
No,
change
it just
color?
turned black, solid black.
Wow,
it was freakish. And I just remember I went to my table, I sat down, I just put my head on the table. Someone walked in, like, hi. I put my head back down. Can I buy something? No. Back down. Can't count. You know, I was dead. And I started feeling well towards the end of the show. I think you might have been there, but you were sleeping in your car. That year.
I
think that year.
Okay.
So then I'm sitting there, I'm starting to feel. I got 3 hours left. I think I'll try to sell. Power goes out. I'm like,
that was.
Oh, I remember that show. Yeah, I was there too. Yeah.
I'm just packing up. So I'm done.
Yep. That was the first year I met Terry and all them, and Kevin, and my plan was I was going to sleep in my car that weekend just to save money.
In Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. And
in April.
These guys are. Terry's like, yeah, come with us. I'm thinking, I don't even know these guys. I want to sleep in a room with them. That's right. I forgot. That's when you got sick that weekend.
Oh, that was bad.
But that's how I first met them.
That was bad.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, I was there. I don't remember the Black Tunning episode. Where's that Sunday? On Sunday, though, by that time we're all dragging anyway, so.
Yeah, so it's just normal. Yeah.
And that's the year I had that's the year I met Carl from Walking Dead and his dad, because they had the booth, they had a table right across from me, and that weekend I'm like looking at this little kid going, well, actually, I was thinking the dad must be the celebrity.
Oh,
and he brought his kid. So I keep looking at the dad going, I don't recognize him. I don't know
it was like one of his first shows, too.
Yeah.
And it was right after the first season, so it was like they had 6 episodes. And
there's a long gap between season 1 and 2, so.
People were kind of seeing them, but they didn't know.
Right. And then I remember seeing one of the morning, it was either Saturday or I think it was Sunday morning. The dad was walking with the kid, and he was in trouble. The dad was saying, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that kid did something wrong. Then I'm looking at him going, wait a minute. Oh, that's the kid from Walking Dead. That's Carl. And I'm like, oh, Carl's getting in trouble. Must have wandered off again. But
that was before he started wandering off all the time.
Yeah. But then the power ended up going out that day. And it's funny because even years later, because after that, I talked to them a few times, and when I'll mention, I'm like, yeah, I was the one at the Pittsburgh show when the power went. Oh yeah, we remember you. They always remember me when I say the Pittsburgh show with the power going out.
Yeah. See, I knew you from, we did that Alice in Wonderland book.
Yes.
And we both did pieces for that, so that's how we kind of met.
Yeah.
Along with Ashley
At Motor City.
Yeah.
Then when the book came out, we met for
right,
that.
and then we bumped into each other in Pittsburgh. I'm like, I know that
Yeah,
guy.
but I didn't know you.
Right. He's like,
Like, I know you now.
I'm like, well, I don't know you anymore.
Well, that's kind of always we always ran in paths, which like you and I did too.
Yeah.
I always saw you like at Kokomo or somewhere like that. We chatted a little bit here
Right.
and there. I remember when you and Brandy got married. It was like, oh, you're gonna be great,
Right.
and all that stuff. And then we really didn't start hanging out until Pittsburgh, Phoenix a few years ago.
Yeah.
When you stayed with us, and you're like, oh, okay, these guys are cool. Oh, you guys like food? I like food.
I like food.
You like beer? I was like, I used to.
Yeah.
You will again.
Yeah, he's gotten me to drink a few times this year now.
Well,
Kevin's really good at finding good food and good beer.
The trick's just you find a restaurant that says brewery
Yeah.
in the name.
Well, I knew that too.
You're pretty lucky right there.
Yeah, he's
So-
like, oh, you should try this. Here. All right. You need a second one. I really don't want to. No, you have to do the nitro. The nitro is something
He's
different.
That's right.
He's using the Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
method.
Right. And then you don't remember anything. You just wake up, get a ball gag, and
Fred's like, why am I sore?
Who wrote GIMP on my head? But hey.
But I remember I stayed with you in Phoenix because the other Kevin ended up not going to the show. So everyone knew you were going to go with Kevin. Then I show up, and then everyone's like, that's the wrong Kevin.
Yeah.
I heard that all weekend. Like, who are you? I'm Kevin.
Kevin 2.0 or whatever.
When someone only sees you
Kevin,
once a
Kevin
year.
was with us, though.
Oh, that's right.
He
You're
was.
right, yeah.
But because him and I drove out, but then you fly in, and they're like, there's two Kevins?
There's two Kevins.
Yeah, Kevin 2.0.
They're multiplying.
Right. And the thing was, the second one like doubled in size.
Right. Exactly. And then Kevin stopped doing shows, and we started hanging out. So then it was like, oh, I have Kevin with me. Everyone's like, oh, okay, they come to the table. That's not Kevin.
It's like
Wrong Kevin.
the Sith have a rule of 2. Brett has a rule of Kevin. Yeah. There must always be a Kevin present.
There will always be one. Oh, Charles is watching. Hey, Charles.
Now you got to worry.
Speaking of Phoenix, we got Charles watching.
Hey,
How's it going, Charles?
And didn't he just have a new addition?
He's got
to
a
the
new
family?
baby a few months ago.
Congratulations.
That's right. Congrats.
Gorgeous little girl, Audrey.
That's right.
And his wife she's amazing. I saw her posting pictures, and she's like already back to her pre-baby weight. Looks like she's just a phenomenal woman in great shape. And
It was Connie's point out. I was the one that was supposed to go that year, and I had to back out.
yeah, and you gave the table to him. Yeah.
You took my place. So
That's how we found
Even
out.
though the show, for me at least, I know you did a good show. But the show was kind of, we had a great time.
Oh, it was a blast.
We got to get back to, speaking of Charles, I want to go back to his in-laws' restaurant, Tony's Cafe there.
excellent
That was
food.
amazing.
Oh, so
Yep.
good.
Good.
That's the only reason I want to do
times.
Phoenix show is just because of the
I should
restaurant.
go for the food.
Well, Mother Bunch. Mother Bunch.
Whenever
Yeah.
I travel, if I have to go out to West Coast, even for my day job, I'm like, how can I connect in Phoenix?
I need an 8-hour layover.
Just to go to Mother Bunch, to go back to the airport, to get back on a plane,
But
to go where I'm going.
it's like 10 minutes from the airport.
Yeah, it's right there. You can do it. You
it's
can
really
do it.
close.
Yeah, I'll just Uber.
And it's they even have that trolley that goes the
Right.
Yeah.
train from the station too that takes you right downtown. So it's nice and easy.
Yeah, you can-
Charles
show up
says
there-
good morning to us. So
You show up there with your bag of luggage, like, where are you coming into town for? I'm like, to eat here. Where are you going? Back to the airport after I'm done eating here. That's it. That's the only reason why I stopped in Phoenix. So,
Well, and Charles is now back to his pre-baby weight.
Yes.
So that's good. I think I
Charles.
gained Charles pre-baby weight. I think it went to me.
now Phoenix is one of
Awesome.
my favorite cities to visit.
I love Phoenix.
yeah, it's the only reason I even would consider doing the shows because I really love the area. Love to go back there. It's a good excuse to go visit. At the same time, it's like, well, I might as well just go visit. But at the same time, I'm like, well, if I can make enough money to at least cover being there.
Right. Well, even like I enjoy the ballpark there.
Yeah,
The
it's-
Diamondback games are fun down there.
It's
the
one of the
stadium's
best
fun.
ballparks. It's right there in the city. It's easy
I'd
get
like to do that.
It's
That'd
a
be fun.
blast. It's a gorgeous ballpark, especially
Yeah.
when they have the roof open.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean,
See, that'd be a good time to go, like in spring, hit like an April game.
Yeah.
because it's warm enough and they can have it open and everything else.
Yeah, I really enjoy it there.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
but
Now-
we've all done a bunch of shows together. So
Yeah, we've
Now-
been everywhere.
Now I was talking about Carl a little bit, and
Yeah.
people know I kind of fell away from Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. This week I decided Dominic likes you've been liking Fear the Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I decided, because Dominic said it was good, I started binging it. I watched 4 episodes this week. It is better this year. I felt it
It's
improved.
very good this year.
Yeah, I like the new characters, and I think it's really added to it.
You can tell that they said, well, we're just going to kill everybody.
Did you start with the very beginning of the season or the mid-season break?
They're at the one what just started. It's labeled as season 4, episode 1 on Comcast.
Oh, okay.
So whatever, with Morgan joining the group.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where I missed the second half, I think, of last season.
The second half of last season was
I saw
pretty decent.
I saw up to when they blew up the dam.
Okay, and then the second half of that season was actually good. The first half was very slow.
Okay.
The second half was good, and this season's been great, but they've introduced 8 new characters, I think. I mean, they've completely remodeled the show.
Yeah.
It feels like Walking Dead used to feel, I think.
That's what I feel like. I feel like they're capturing that old feel back.
You give a shit about the characters. Oh, there's one. It wasn't an F-bomb. It wasn't an F-bomb.
Where's the swear jar?
Well, we could do that. It's after 10.
But yeah, you care about the characters. That was what The Walking Dead was great about. You know.
But what's
then they
amazing
just
though
added
is
too much.
in the opening episode, like the gunslinger guy.
Yeah.
You care more about him in the first 5 minutes,
right?
Than you cared about the kids, Madison's kids, in 4 seasons.
Well, he's
I wanted them all to
actor.
disappear by episode 6 of that first season, which is only a 6-episode season.
But
it was like, you can get rid of the stepdad and all the kids, and we'll be good.
Yeah, I'm really liking how they're establishing it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
I may have to check them out now, because I have not watched it, because I tried to watch last season and couldn't get into it. I stopped recording it, so I'll have to go back and watch maybe the first few episodes of this season and see what's going on. Because I know they got the new Walking Dead coming out in October, and I'm not excited at all.
You know what, though? I'm
going to watch it, see where they go with it.
With Fear the Walking Dead, though, a part of me, this isn't a spoiler. It's all over the news. This is Rick's last season.
Yeah.
And with Carl being gone, they're really going to, after this season, they are free from the comic book. They can do whatever they want.
They've already announced Rick's leaving, Carl's gone, Maggie's leaving the show. She's got a new show starting this fall.
Right.
She's going to do several episodes here and there just to kind of tie up her storyline.
Right. They're not going to kill her off, but she's just going to keep popping back up.
The trailer from Comic-Con shows they did the time jump, so it's going to be like 2 years ahead. So she should already have the baby. Judith is already, looks like about 4, almost 5 years old. And
But what I'm getting at is with how Fear the Walking Dead feels right now, once Rick's gone, that might free up the show to actually go in whatever direction they want and maybe make it better.
I would be. I think they should. I mean,
because then they're no longer tied to, well, that's not what happened in the comic.
Yeah,
they're free to do.
Well, the comic got, I got tired of it around the Negan time, and then after that, it was just all redundant. They kept trying to bring out everything was like the governor was okay, but we need a new governor, so that's where Negan came in. Well, we got rid of Negan, so now we got these new group of people that are kind of like the governor.
Yeah,
it was all the same thing in the comic book, and then the show kind of followed that path a little.
There's only so many things you can do. I mean,
well, it is.
It's amazing it's lasted this long.
I think the biggest problem with the show is you've got this cycle of story that keeps going, but the world itself doesn't advance. So they're constantly stuck in the mud. You know what I mean? The world has to move with it. Like, what's happening with the zombie apocalypse? What's causing it? What's not causing it? Is there a cure? Is there no cure? Whatever it is, something has to happen to move the world forward for those people to operate in. And since that's never changing, there's only so much you can say and keep that story going.
That's where I enjoyed Z Nation a lot more, because they were showing progression in the world. You saw different parts of the world. Even though some of it was very absurd, it actually fit. I mean, you were going to have that stuff there, but I felt like the last couple seasons especially was the same thing. Well, this last season, Walking Dead, it all took place over like a 48-hour period.
Right,
that was a big problem with it.
It's the entire nine seasons? How many seasons?
I mean, this is coming up on season 9.
Coming up on season 9, and the actual timeline, it's only been 3-4 years, right?
Right.
I mean, and 2 years of that was a jump between season 3 and 4.
Yeah,
that they jumped everything. So
they had to age Carl.
9 seasons, almost a decade of this show being on the air, and really you've only seen 2 years worth of time span on the show. It's too much. It's too condensed. You have to have some kind of progression, or naturally people are going to lose. Like, Jesus, I don't want to watch this. Let's watch him eating dinner for an hour. I mean, that's an episode. It's like, Christ.
Well, that's what it was, and we talked about it in there. It's like, nothing's going forward. And the thing was, even the fans, we saw that it used to be coming home from shows like, okay, I can't look at Facebook after 8:59 because Walking Dead started.
Right.
Now nobody's posting anything. Nobody's posting
That's
spoilers.
very true.
Nothing like that.
But
until something catastrophic.
A big part of that
is
is in the comics. They also never progressed that story of what was happening.
Right. He had to do time jumps a couple times.
So now, once Rick is gone, they're really free from the comics. I think.
Well, they have to be, because the comics really have centered more around Carl,
right? Which isn't there.
When they did the time jump, they made him older in the comics, and so everything's centered around him, and he's kind of almost the de facto leader on with other ones. But I haven't read it in a couple years now. But it was without Carl. Now they do not have that same direction. So now they can go wherever they want to go.
Right.
It sounds like Daryl's staying around. Norman Reedus going to stay on, but he'll probably spearhead the show.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm just thinking if a part of me is like, how do you do Walking Dead without Rick? But then another part of me is like, you know what? This might actually, they might free themselves to actually grow it.
Look at this past season. Realistically, Rick was only in like a quarter of the episodes in terms of centering on him.
Well, that's part of the problem too, is they've got the cast so big at some points where the characters people actually care about. People love Carol. She was barely in the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
And
we can tell that
and same thing with Daryl.
These actors can be doing a completely other show or movies because they're only on the show for little amounts of time.
Right.
So they can. I mean, Andrew Lincoln was probably done shooting most of his episodes 6 months before we saw episode 1. I mean, he was probably done with everything he needed to do for last season,
back in
except
England.
for maybe a few things. He's back in England doing what? I mean, obviously, probably after he's done with the show, it's going to be he's on another TV show or he's been doing a movie or something over in England.
Yeah.
He's doing something, and they want to move on. Maggie, same way.
Yeah.
Once he's back to that, though, how many people were like, he's British?
Yeah, right.
He'll do some role with his normal accent, and people are like, what? That's not right.
That's what they do the interviews on the Walking Dead after show. It's like he talks just like, oh yeah, I forgot he's British.
Isn't that weird? It's like half the show is British.
Yeah.
This season is going to either make it or break it. It's either going to be done or it's going to.
Well, my thought is this: they're gonna finish the season up because pretty much everything is already shot by the time they launch the first episode. The entire season has been shot.
Pretty much, yeah.
So if they decide, okay, it's just not working out, they're going to do one more season to kind of wrap up the whole thing because they want to get that 10th season in.
Yeah.
And for them, it's all money because once it really hits, and there's a few reruns here and there, it hits a channel where it's streaming all the time and stuff like that. It'll pick up more money because people go back, oh, I remember how it was good, and they'll start rewatching again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think 10 might be the magic number.
Very cool.
That was my thought. I thought that a couple years ago. It's like I could see him going to 10 just because it's a solid run. It's the very first zombie series. Of course, if we get that full 10 seasons in, it looks like a big hit. You got at that point they'd have probably about 180 episodes or something.
Yeah, so that's crazy. So I'm waiting for the aliens to show up. That's what I'm just waiting for the aliens.
Well,
to come down.
Z-Nation already had that episode.
I know.
Z-Nation has it all. So that's what we got to start doing. Walking Dead. Oh, we should do this. Oh, Z-Nation did it.
So I have to ask you, because now one thing you learn about Kevin when you know him is he's a huge horror fan.
Yeah.
And you're a big George Romero fan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who is pretty much the father of the zombie genre.
He is, yeah.
So what are your, when you, being such a fan of his work and everything else, because if I remember right, he wasn't a fan of Walking Dead. He had some negative stuff to say about it. How about you? What's your views on Walking Dead versus the zombie genre?
Versus what Romero did? I think they do a good job because I forget the name of the director. He's the main guy on the show, long hair.
Nicotero.
His first movie was Night of the Living Dead.
Correct.
The first thing that he did was with Romero.
That was in the 80s.
He was an intern. He was like 20 years old, maybe 18. He was very young. Mm-hmm. So you'll see homages every season there's something he's throwing back to Romero. So the amount of respect that he pays back, that's why I like the show a lot, especially the first couple seasons. The best one in the very first season is the teddy bear girl. You look at the way she's the little girl from Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they shot promos that looked exactly the same. Those attentions to detail is why I like the show, because they're remembering where that genre came from, and people still keep that alive. You've got like Rob Zombie, who always harkens back to the originals. You know, when you go back to Romero or John Carpenter, any of these older, directors that really started what we consider to be horror.
So what are your thoughts on zombies? Like, okay, you got Walking Dead or Night of the Living Dead versus that kind of and they lumber through,
right?
Versus like World War Z, where they like run. What are your thoughts on running zombies versus
or like
stalking zombies?
48 hours. What is that?
20
hours later,
days later.
20 days later, yeah.
When that came out, because that was the first time anyone really did the
running zombies,
where they're just their brains are just disconnected. They're full bore the entire time until they die or they just their heart explodes. I mean, it's just 100% full goal the entire time. Their aim is just to get you, eat you, kill you.
Yeah.
That was the most unique take I thought I'd ever seen on it, and I loved that vision.
28 Days Later was great, but they weren't really zombies. They didn't call them zombies.
They're more infected.
Right.
That's the way.
And that was the difference on that versus like the remake of Dawn of the Dead, where they were zombies, where they actually died and then they came back, but then they were all like super strong, super fast.
Right. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I think it will always be in my mind the zombie is the slow moving Romero zombie. That's everything else.
And they still had some speed and some strength,
right?
But it wasn't also they just full bore run,
right? Not like full adrenaline or however they explain it,
or creating a mountain of zombies to climb over.
Right. So I call that they're infected because they're still basically living people. They just their brains are disconnected. They're just on basic instinct. So I think that's a different type of animal.
Yep. And then you got a more intelligent zombie through like Santa Clarita Diet.
So now I love
Would
that.
she be a zombie?
Or iZombie.
iZombie.
Yes.
Santa Clara Diet is one of the most unique shows.
I love that. I love the humor. Tim Oliphant.
Oh yeah, he is absolutely hilarious. I just love. He's so deadpan. He's just like.
And the daughter is great.
Yeah. Oh, the kids are fantastic.
Yeah.
The entire cast. Nathan Fillion's just a head.
Oh,
and
Gary.
it's hilarious.
Yes.
It's fantastic. But Tim Oliphant's just deadpan delivery. Like he just comes home. He's disappointed. Like, I wanted to grill out.
But he also gets like he nails this perfect balance of where like he's trying to be loving and understand, but also you can tell he's on the verge of a complete breakdown at the same time. Like he has that
keep
slight
eating the neighbors.
Yeah, he always looks like he's about to have a complete mental breakdown. I love it. What other zombies are there? Might as well keep talking zombie. See, Kevin, when I first met you, you were like insane amounts of zombie portraits you would do.
But he would draw everybody as a zombie.
Caricatures as people loved it.
What's the weirdest zombie portrait you had to do?
Oh, the best one.
I think I know which
still,
one.
To this day, I was in Baltimore, and this woman comes up, and she's pregnant, and she's like, "Oh, I want you to draw me as a zombie." And I look, and I'm like, "Only if I can draw your baby eating its way out of you, and you're holding it." She goes, "That's perfect. Draw that." And I'm like, "All right." So I draw, and I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I get it to her. The baby's there. It's chewing on the umbilical cord, and she loved it.
That's the one that popped in my mind.
Yeah. And but then later she sends me an email and says, "Hey, I framed this. I put it on my wall in my office." And I look at the picture and I'm like, "That's a nice looking office," And I'm like, it's sitting there, and I zoom out on the picture, and next to that is her law degree on the wall, and I'm just like, "Oh my god." It's nice.
Some client comes in.
Yeah, she's got a picture of. I'm like, all right, that's okay. But yeah, those were fun because you're actually drawing people,
Right.
And it's very personalized. But I stopped doing it. One, the zombie craze kind of died down. Two, it takes way too much time.
It takes a lot
I
of
am
time.
not a fast artist
Right.
when it comes to doing portraits.
Well, you would be hammering them out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you were doing a
Especially
lot.
when my wife was there.
Yeah.
Like, she's just that's really why I had to stop. I took Brandy to too many shows, and she's just like, draw. I'm like, oh, I'm tired. Draw. It'd be close to the end of the show. Someone come up, can you draw one more? Yeah, you can. Like,
She's got that whip.
yeah, my fingers are
If we
bleeding.
get a couple desserts and the gristle in them, we'll get some free t-shirts.
Yeah.
She's like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love when my wife goes to the shows with me. It's so much fun.
Oh,
She's
Brandy's
lot
a
of help.
blast.
Oh yeah.
We had so much fun last year for
Brandy's
Indiana. We
mean to
surprised you for
me.
your
She
birthday.
yells at me because of what I eat all the time.
It's because you won't eat anything.
I eat a lot of stuff. I love that she packed Cheez-Its for me for France.
She packed food for you to take to France because she was afraid you wouldn't eat
I
anything.
know. No, Brandy's awesome. She really is.
The entire time I knew that there was a McDonald's on the corner. I didn't tell you. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to eat. And I'm like, there's a McDonald's on the corner.
It turned
I'm
out
just
I
not
had
gonna
nothing to
tell
worry
her.
about.
Yeah, everything was
Everything was
absolutely
American
fantastic.
food there.
Yeah.
American
Oh,
or
yeah.
Italian.
See, now I have to go back probably in October for a week or so, and I'll be in the southern part, which
Okay.
is very rural.
Right. So that'll be different.
Night and day difference from
Yeah.
what we were doing. It's,
Well, there you have to say you're Canadian.
Yes, that's where you say you're Canadian.
They tell us to say we're Canadian.
That's
if
the
anyone
international
asks.
trick. If you're traveling overseas, don't tell them you're American. Say you're Canadian.
Hey.
And they will talk to you because they know English. If they're not speaking English, they're lying.
But in Paris, they were completely fine with talking
God,
to
yes,
us. And
yeah, they were apologizing to us for
Yeah.
not being able to speak English. I'm like, we're in your country. It's
right.
not your fault.
Yeah. And I think they also liked talking to us too because it gave them a chance to practice their English.
Yes, yeah.
I think they enjoyed that. But everybody was so nice there in Paris, and my understanding, even the Parisians, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know, they would say, yeah, once you get outside of here, it's going to the mentality changes.
Right, absolutely.
But here, it's different.
It's like if someone, foreign comes to America. There's a big difference if you come to New York or Chicago, where it's a melting pot and there's a lot of different cultures. And people are going to get along pretty well, whether they speak partial English or
unless
whatever.
you're driving.
Right,
Then
unless
they
you're
all
driving.
use sign language with you.
But then, if someone from a foreign country comes and visits Kentucky or Louisiana,
Yeah.
they're going to be speaking English. They don't speak English in those, at least not English that we even recognize. You see TV shows like the Gator Boys or whatever. There's subtitles. He's speaking English. Yet we still need subtitles because you're sitting there.
Authentic frontier gibberish.
And I mean, they film this, and there's sometimes at the bottom, all the subtitles just question mark, question mark, question mark. They don't even know what he's saying. He's speaking English. Anyone coming from another country has no chance. They are going to die in a swamp somewhere, and no one will ever know. So that's the difference. It depends on what part of the country you're going to.
Okay.
Germany's not bad, and most of Germany's not bad, but you get into the
The rural.
yeah, I think it's the eastern part of Germany. It gets a little worse.
The redneck part of Germany.
No, the we don't like you, you're American part of Germany. But and they can tell you, I have the last name. Meinert's a nice, German last name. But as soon as they hear you talk, it's over. And they're like, "Oh, Meinert," and they're like, "Hello." I'm like, "Oh, American, Canadian, actually." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Oh, that's all better." It's
Oh, you like hockey?
Okay, hey, yeah. I was up there curling the other day. It was cool.
That was a boot to go to somewhere.
Well, I say if you go to Canada, it's similar, but you get far enough north, it's very French. But if you're in
Yeah.
Canada, you just have to like one of three things: hockey, beer, or Rush. If you're listening to Rush, watching
I did not
hockey,
know Rush.
drinking a beer, they love you. They don't care where you're from. So if you can drink beer, you can tolerate hockey or listen to Rush, and I can do two of those things.
Now, my basic knowledge of
So you're a big
Canada,
hockey fan, huh?
When I'm in Canada, I am.
my knowledge of Canada primarily came from two sources in life: Bob and Doug McKenzie, and Hockey Night in Canada with Don Cherry. That defines like 80% of my knowledge of Canada. There.
Wow.
He's like, okay, you hosers. Of course, the best thing about that movie was they had Mel Blanc doing the voice of the dad.
Yes.
Right.
And he sounded like Yosemite Sam.
Yep. That was such a good movie.
Oh, that was a great film. And
When are we getting the sequel? Maybe when Rick Moranis coming back.
he's doing a Comic-Con now. Alamo City, I think is on.
Yeah, I heard it was insane
Alamo City's
pricing.
has Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's like $200 for a autograph. Yeah, Schwarzenegger. I think Rick Moranis like 150 or
Schwarzenegger
$200.
and Moranis.
Yeah.
Twins too.
There you go. That would work.
We still gotta get
He'll be the
Kevin Hart.
triplet. He'll be the triplet.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis will be the unknown third twin.
He was the zygote that disappeared. Yeah.
Wow.
What is it when the South Park had where the twin? What is it when the twin dies and it's attached?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had that in South Park.
That's horrible.
That was awful.
That is pretty.
I shouldn't even brought that up. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Well, we are getting pretty close to having to wrap this up now.
Yes, indeed. So once again, how do people find you online?
Website, Kevin E. Meinert at, KevinEMeinert.com, Facebook, Kevin E. Meinert Artist, and Instagram, Kevin E. Meinert Artist.
And you're going to be, Dom will be there. I'll be there next weekend. We're going to be in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati
Fort Wayne the
Comic
weekend
Expo.
after.
Yep. Fort Wayne looking forward to. Get to see Brandy and the kids.
Yeah.
And visit with them and
times.
have a good time there. So that shows next weekend, though, is Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the Cincinnati.
Right.
And I know you were telling me where your table was. I know I'm going to be at C2, I think is what it is.
I'm C13.
Yeah. So we're down the same row, but we're going to be booking in it.
That's right.
Everybody in between is in trouble now.
That's right.
And how do people find you, Brett?
BrettPinson.com is the best place to find me at.
All right, Dom, how do people find you online so they can find you at Cincinnati?
MessBucketComics.com.
There you go, and you can look me up at The Art of Scott, and I won't be in Cincinnati
At this time.
at this time, unless something last minute opens, which I am hoping for. We'll see.
Yep, he knows he's got a place to stay if he needs to. We got the hotel and all that. So, any final words, Scott? No. How about you, Kevin? All right,
What
Jen.
was that in? What was that in? Where the final words were? Was that Monty Python?
Probably.
Anyways,
It was like when the corporate raiders realized the world was actually flat and they fell off the edge.
yeah, there you go. All right.
Well, on that note,
thank you.
Dominic, take us out, man.